Today is the last day of September. I think this is the longest or the latest we've ever taped a street scene show in 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think we've never gone this long, but you know, this was such a good year, and it seemed to all pile up into September here for us because I think, you know, it seems like the shows are running a little later now. So, but
can you believe it? We have had 10 shows and not one rain out. No, we're
cloudy.
fine. It was raining a little bit this morning, but it's fine. It's supposed to be like 70, 74 today. We got a perfect day. We're down here at the B&O Station in Youngstown, Ohio at the Rust Belt Revival. I think it's their 7th annual show, and it's pretty cool. We're going to have some really, really cool, unusual cars here today. It's just one of those different shows, and I think we're going to enjoy this stuff. I think I'm comparing this to maybe like the Volkswagen show for me.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, it was so different to me. I really enjoyed it, and I think today there's so much different stuff here. It's going to be really cool.
Well, you know what? Last year when we did our segments with Gary Campesi, he's like, you've got to come to this show because there's so much. You know, this focuses on the hot rods, the rat rods, all that stuff. You see him pulling in back here. There's a ton of different stuff. I've never seen more than half these cars at any of the shows, so we're going to get some good ones for you.
Speaking of Gary, I talked to him yesterday. He's supposed to be here today, so we'll have to talk to Gary again. Yeah, he's been one of our tips guy all year.
Yep, we do the tech tip segments, and
it's not easy to say, is it?
You never can say that, is it? But I tell you, let's head back here and see if we can
go in and check it out. Okay. With me, I have Tony Nicholas from Youngstown, Ohio, with the Rust Belt Revival crew. How's it going?
Wonderful. Couldn't be better.
Great. Today's the 6th annual show you guys having down here at the B&O Station here in Youngstown. Pretty nice. Everybody's starting to come in now.
Right.
Looks
it's
like
exciting.
The weather.
I got goosebumps. I'm excited. Yeah, it's a highlight of the year.
Looks like the weather's going to cooperate, hopefully, huh?
Yeah, so far so good. It's supposed to only get better.
So tell me a little bit about the show.
This show started with my friendship. I'm a photographer / artist, and I met some of these guys in this car club called the Roadhounds maybe 10 years ago just by photographing their cars. And we hit it off, and they used to do a show out in Jackson Milton years ago. Lost access to where they did it. I had access here to do the show, and we said, let's try it, and now it's 6 years, and it's only gotten bigger and better every year.
This is neat. This is like a lot of the cars you see here today, you don't see at regular shows.
Right, and it's kind of the guys in the Roadhounds, Shane Felger, Tim Leake, who were here helping out. The first couple years, it was almost invitation only. They wanted it to have a certain feel and a certain look, a traditional kind of a hot rod show, and they literally invited the first 2 years, the 100 or so cars that came were all specifically invited to come. And it created this kind of vibe and this style that we have here, and it is unique. And this atmosphere of the B&O is perfect.
Yeah, I thought we were going to come in. We heard about it through one of our friends, Gary Campesi, last year. He says, you got to go to the show. It's a really cool show. And then we said, okay, we'll put it on our schedule. We're always looking for something different. And I was expecting like, rat rods or something like this, but these are basically custom trucks, custom cars. And
they actually, the guys in the Roadhounds, they can appreciate like a rat rod, but it's so much more than that. It's a lot more. I mean, there's cars here that are really extremely high, well done, you know, restorations, and that's the beauty of it. It's you get everything from, you know, supremely finished cars to cars that are project cars.
We just did Greg, what's his name, Meese's 54 Chevy. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, the Meese name, he's got a reputation. He does things really well.
So what can we expect here today, Tony? You got a band and everything?
Yeah, we have a band. The Muleface Brothers has kind of been the house band for us for 3 years now. And we have a couple other vendors, guys selling cigars. Bruno Brothers Pizza is here. Christopher's Down Under is a restaurant in Youngstown, and they do this food cruiser, food truck, and Yeah, the band is live, and it's just a great atmosphere. It's a lot of great people, and it's all about the traditional hot rodding thing.
Sounds good. I was asking you before about the Roadhounds. How can you get involved with them if you wanted to? But you were saying what?
It's really the Roadhounds started. My dad was an original member in the 50s from Howland High School, Howland, Ohio, and there's not many of them left. But the guys that are left kind of keep it going. But it's so loosely affiliated. They just like to keep the name going. I don't know that they do like a membership thing or anything anymore, but they just kind of keep it alive.
They're on Facebook, though, right?
They're on Facebook. If you go to the Rust Belt Revival site, you can find out stuff, what they're doing. And it's more, it's just a way to keep that traditional old-fashioned hot rodding going.
This is really cool. This is something I'm getting a thrill out of it, because a lot of times we go to the shows and you see a lot of the same stuff. This is different.
Yeah,
this is a lot different. Yeah.
You know, as a photographer and artist, I look at all little details.
Sure.
And that's what this is. You can look at one car for an hour and find so many unique. These guys are artists.
Yes.
You know, the way they take this to that extreme is just fantastic.
You got it, Tony. Thanks a lot, and we're going to enjoy the show here today.
Enjoy it.
You got it.
Thanks.
With me, I have Mike Bova. Mike's got what year is this, Mike?
1979
Honda
CB650.
Not only do you have cars here, you got a lot of bikes here too, huh?
Yep.
How long you been coming to this show?
Pretty much every year they had it. Yeah.
This is the 6th annual one. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Pretty good day today so far. It looked like it was going to rain a little bit in the morning or a couple hours ago, but now it's good.
Yep.
What have you done to this thing?
Pretty much everything. Custom frame. I built the frame. Other than the basket for the motor and the neck there. That's the only original parts on the bike. But everything else, custom peanut tank.
That's a Sportster tank, right?
Correct, Sportster tank.
Okay. Suicide shift.
Suicide shift, yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, how's that work for you?
I love it. I love it. I can't ride a regular bike now. It's got to have that on there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what style bike would you call this now? So what kind, the way you customized it?
I call it a bobber. I mean, it's a bar hopper. It's a hardtail, so you're not. I've ridden this thing to North Carolina and back, but
just like this.
Yeah, just like this, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean,
I was going to say your butt was probably awfully sore after that.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah. It was every 100 miles we had to stop.
Well, you got the small tank on it, right?
Small tank. Plus, you need a little brake for your rear end. Yeah.
If I'm right, I have my old Sportster had a 2-gallon tank on it. Is that 2-gallon tank about that?
It's 2 gallons, yep.
My new Sportster has a 3.3-gallon tank on it, so a little bit better, a little bit big. It doesn't look as good as that one, but it's nice when you're on a ride somewhere. I can get 150, a little bit over 150 miles to a tank. So.
Right.
You're having fun with it, though, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good.
I've had it for about 10, 11 years now, and have many offers to people want to buy it, and I'll never sell it.
Why a Honda? Why don't you get a Harley or an Indian or something like that?
Everybody builds Harleys and Indians. I wanted to build something a little bit different. So.
What'd you do to the motors? Is it stroked out at all? Or?
It's a little bit cammed out. Other than that, it's stock. Other than the carburetor's got a little modification to them, you know, open air filters and stuff. But other than that, it's pretty much stock.
me, I have Merritt Buckley from Vienna, Ohio, in his 49 Ford Custom.
Right.
How's it going today?
It's doing real good. Started out a little rainy, but it's clearing up.
Yeah. See, you waxed your car up today.
Yeah. Wiped the rain off it.
Hey, how long have you had this?
Well, I've been working on it 5 years.
Okay.
I bought it. It was just a shell, and no motor, no transmission, no interior, no windows, and like I said, I've been working on it 5 years. I put 55 Olds headlights in it. Put the 350 Chevy engine transmission, the Thunderbird interior, 55 Pontiac side trim, 50 Pontiac taillights. Of course, I got the caddy caps on the front.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Fender skirts on it?
Yeah, the bubble skirts. And
how'd you get that Thunderbird interior to fit in there, especially the back part?
well, I had to cut it. It was too wide, so I had to trim it, kept trimming it down, and just kept fitting it. That took quite a while.
Yeah, 'cause I got a 64, and it's very similar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
They're all the same, 4, 5, and 6, basically.
Yeah, a little bit of difference in the console. I had to make parts of the console
Okay.
because when they come up to the Thunderbird dash, they kind of went around. So I had to make that center piece and all that. A lot of work. But,
Tilt steering wheel?
Tilt steering wheel.
What's that, Chevy?
It's a GM. It's a GM column.
Okay.
It was a padded wheel, but I took the padding off and filled all the holes. And
What do you do with those? Do you just paint them, regular paint?
that's just regular. Matter of fact, that's rattle can.
Okay.
And then I cleared it with clear. And
I always wondered about that. When they do those wheels, they fix them up, and then they just, it's regular paint they put on those.
well, I've got another car that I've had done quite a few years, and the paint's coming off it. It was rattle can, but yeah, you know, eventually it's going to wear a little bit.
Oh,
you know.
sure.
Yeah.
It's like anything, right?
Yeah.
It's like anything. Merritt, Bucky, this is a really neat looking car. I love it. How's it drive for you?
It ran pretty good. I put radials on it a couple weeks ago. Made a world difference.
Heck
World of difference.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah, that's what a lot of guys go to.
Yeah, I had to do that. The bolt bias pliers are wandering all over. So.
Got Scott Elkin here from Cortland, Ohio, and his 45, what is it,
Dodge pickup.
pickup. Yeah, pretty nice. What have you done to her?
Well, it was a larger truck. It had a dual wheels and everything. I cut it down, shortened the frame, put a 360 Dodge motor in it with a 727 Chrysler transmission. It's got air conditioning, tilt wheel. Kind of painted up to look kind of like a patinaed old truck, but with the modern motor, and it's got a Mustang 2 front end under it. And
You're all set to go.
Yeah.
Where'd you find this at?
A guy up in Cleveland had it. I think it came out of maybe South Dakota originally, but I can't remember for sure. But he had it, and he wanted to build it, but he never got to it. And we've taken it to Columbus, and it'll go out on the highway and run 70 mile an hour with the rest of the big boys.
Good. How about the bed on that? You cut this all down. Is that the original bed?
No, that's not an original bed. God, he goes to some of the big swap meets and that. He builds them. I think he's out of West Virginia. I can't remember at this time, but no, the bed was manufactured to put on it. Fenders and everything are all original.
Even though you had dualies on the back, those original fenders.
Original fenders for that style of pickup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not off of, because it was a like a bigger flatbed type.
Oh, I see. Sounds good. You're having some fun with it, are you?
Yeah, get it out and it's a nice cruiser, and just like I say, you got the air, you got the heater, and
and you got a top in case it rains like today.
Yes.
Welcome to Tech Tips. Today we have a different angle on Tech Tips, and we got the artist, we'll call you auto artist, auto designer, Gary Campesi from Cornersburg, Ohio. Welcome, Gary.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
Yeah, welcome. This is really neat. This is all going to be new to us. We've never really did an artist before. We did Guy Shively once, but he's a different type of artist, pinstriping and stuff like that. You design and make cars and draw cars. So when they contact you and everything, do you have a flat rate that you charge them, or how does that work?
It's just like anything else. The more complicated it is, the longer it takes. The more it will cost.
So what do? You start a couple sketches, and then you work from sketch by sketch by sketch when you show it to them?
We'll initially make a contact through social media or something and make a call back and forth, and I'll get together what they call a design brief, and they'll say, we want to do a 1928 Pontiac sedan, we want to put a Jaguar V12 engine in it, we want to have custom interior, we want to incorporate elements of this, that, and the other, and I'll get a big long list and try to make it as detailed as possible. Like, do you have particular taste in wheels, color, and that stuff can come later, but it's always part of the whole. The color, wheels. Every form that's in a car should be considered early on. From that, I'll make some initial pencil sketches to see if we're going down the right road. Customer will get back to me and say, I like this, I don't like that. We'll make some modifications. Then we'll proceed to a rendering. I'll do a more detailed drawing, put some color in it, and then they'll be able to see in a little more detail what it's like. And they can stop right there if they want and just use that as a go-by for a build. You know, they can give it to a fabricator and he can get a good idea what it should look like in the end. Or if they want to do a more finished rendering, which is what I like to do because that's just what I like to do. And you can carry it out that way and make it look very real.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you've been designing cars for how long now?
As far as like a salesy type of thing where people contact me, for about 10 years.
Okay, so what was your favorite automobile design?
That I did, or just in the automotive world?
That
I did?
Yeah.
There's one, I'll show you a slide of it here. It's called the V12 Super Rod. It's got a transverse mounted V12 engine and a 1936 Ford pickup truck body.
What's the best design thing that you own?
Probably my digital camera.
Your digital camera?
Mm-hmm. It does so much. It's amazing.
With me, I have Dave Carter from Newcastle, PA, in a mostly 30s Ford.
Mostly Ford, yeah.
What do we got going on here, Dave?
It's just a race car, you know. Use whatever I had around, and you know, just a lot of Ford parts, a lot of old junk that was laying around.
Looks fun. Looks like a lot of fun.
It's an awful lot of fun. I run it, race it as often as I can, dirt tracks and wherever else they'll let me.
So what do you got? What do you got here, like engine-wise and all that?
Engine is Model B Ford, which was used from 32 to 34, four-cylinder. It's got some performance parts. It's got a performance cam, Winfield high compression head, Lee Chapel Tornado 2-carb intake with Strombergs. That's the majority of the performance stuff. These engines are pretty simple. There's not much to them. But yeah, the frame's Model T, rear axle transmission or Model A, grill shell and radiator or Whippet. But it's mostly Ford stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. How about the rear end in this?
Model A.
Model A.
It's welded diff. Okay. I welded it. Yep.
Okay. This is pretty different. What are these things on the side here? I know what they are, but I got to ask you.
What's that?
These things, these pumps on.
Oh, okay. This is actually a Bell Auto Parts fuel pressure pump. It pressurizes the fuel tank, because there's no fuel pump on it.
Okay.
So that's how the fuel gets to the carbs.
So you
just
start-
put
before
a
you
little
start,
air,
you pump
yeah,
it down.
put a little air
Okay.
pressure, and then when if I'm on the track running it, maybe every other lap or so, I got to pump it once or twice just to keep the pressure up. It's got a gas pressure gauge to let me know how the fuel pressure is. So I got to keep an eye on that.
You built this yourself?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do that?
Well, it happened pretty quick, actually. I built it for the Race of Gentlemen a few years ago, and I put it together in a couple of weeks, actually. Working on it pretty much every hour of the day I could find to work on it. Me and a buddy of mine put it together, and it went together real quick. The first time I drove this car, I pulled it on the trailer to take it to New Jersey. So it had just started running that day. So
Gas tank. Where's your gas tank at on this
under the
thing?
cowl here.
Okay.
This is actually the gas cap right here.
Okay.
Yep.
How big of a tank you have in this thing?
Just a couple gallons, just enough to play on the racetrack. So
Mostly dirt.
yeah.
Okay.
It's been on the sand in New Jersey, but yeah, dirt tracks. Is obviously I can do that more often.
Right.
Race of Gentlemen's just once a year, but there's several dirt track events throughout the year. I try to make it to as many as I can.
This looks like a lot of fun. A lot of
It
fun.
is. It's an unbelievable amount of fun.
So how's it hold on the track? Pretty good. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about it tipping or anything.
No, it's low. It's pretty stable. I can run it about as fast as I'm comfortable running it.
Right.
I mean, I've never been scared in it.
How fast you think you get this? 50, 60 running there?
Somewhere around in there, yeah. I know a buddy of mine timed me on a track, a 5/8 mile track. My best lap time was about 31, just over 31 seconds, which is, depending on how accurate that 5/8 mile measurement is, that's approaching 70 mile an hour
Oh, wow.
average
Well, that's
speed.
fast for this
But that's
thing,
really
yeah.
fast, yeah.
That's fast.
So I don't know, maybe that track's not quite 5/8 of a mile, who knows?
With me I have Rick Clark. I'm not going to tell you what this car is. Try to guess what it is. We could not guess what it was. We were saying a Crosley, and I was saying what else? A bunch of different cars. I thought possibly a Fiat, it's an old one or something like that. But Rick Clark got it, and it's customized to the max here, huh?
Yep, a 61 Volvo. Came out of storage. It was in real bad shape. It was just a shell. We have a Pontiac Solstice transmission and engine in it out of a 06. And everything's custom modified. We're going to autocross it. We're going to try to run the Ohio Mile, but we lost that venue. But it's still safety prep for running East Coast Timing Association events. So it's just a fun car, and it definitely is a head turner.
What kind of suspension you got on this?
The front suspension is a total cost involved Mustang 2 style, but it's been narrowed to fit this chassis. The rear is 4 9-inch narrow to fit, obviously, with a 4-link and panhard bar. Everything's coilovers all the way around, adjustable for race prep, big sway bars all the way around as well. 4-wheel disc brakes, and but everything passes legal. Emergency brake lights, everything.
It's street legal then?
Totally street legal.
Great.
Because one of the classes I would run in the East Coast Timing Association would have been street class, and so. They don't care what it looks like so long as it has all the safety.
So what made you go with a Volvo?
I actually used to race vintage racing with a fellow that crewed with him up in Michigan, and I just love the body style as a great platform. It has a huge history, in road racing and rallying. And when the opportunity came, I bought it, and then I asked them how much did I pay for it. so it was one of those no-brainers for me.
Right.
To,
So how long of a project was this?
It was 6 years for me. The fellows that brought it up from California from their sister, I've known the whole family for 40 years, and the one brother brought it back to Ohio, and then he kind of lost interest in it, and I got it in 12. It was a couple years at the fab shop, fitting it in between other jobs to get the heavy fabrication down. That was with Thunder Road Rod and Custom out of Mansfield. They built the cage, the suspension, and a custom intake for me. And then 4 years in my garage to flush it out with new floors, the seating arrangement, the dashboard, all the final fitments.
So this is a Solstice engine in here.
Yep.
And how about the transmission?
Also a Pontiac Solstice. Both of them came out of an 06. And, as you can see, we set it back quite a way. really lucked out on weight distribution. It's 4753 front to back, so it's very nimble. And but the other neat thing about the engine, it's got a standalone wiring harness from CBM Motorsports out in California, and so they deprogrammed the GM standard computer to get all the fluff out of it and just give me some performance. And they guarantee on a stock engine 197 horsepower.
Wow, out of this?
Out of this.
This is totally different than anything we've seen, I'll tell you. And it's really neat. A lot of work went into this, and it's reliable and everything.
Yep, yeah, we just finished the build August 10th of here in 2018, and here it is, what, the 30th, and it's 1,400 miles on it this month. So, so you know, a couple little debugs to work out of it yet, but you know, it gets up and goes, and I don't have any trouble running in the rain or anything. So,
where's Uniontown at?
Uniontown's just south of Akron.
Okay.
Akron, Ohio. Actually, a little subset called Green is.
So that's a good ride for you then.
Yeah, it's an hour here. Yeah, we were out in Norwalk at a show yesterday for it. You know, so. Maple City Mayhem yesterday, so you know, so it's gotten better part of 300 miles this weekend. You know, so.
How's the gas mileage on it?
It gets somewhere around 25, 28.
Wow,
you know.
wow, that's great. That's
so,
not bad. Have fun.
I mean, it's light and you know, and pretty stock configuration, so it runs out real nice.
What do you think it weighs? About 1,700 pounds?
No, it actually weighs exactly 2,400 pounds. I scaled it. You know, I scaled it, and that's how I know what the weight distribution is. Is you know, front to back is the 47 to 53. So. You know, you can't get much closer to 50-50. We're approaching Porsche territory there, so it's a blast on an off-ramp.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You are watching Street Scene.
With me, I have Greg Meese from Warren, Ohio, and his 54 Chevy
210 Bel Air, whatever you want to call it. It's a little one of a kind now.
Yes, it is one of a kind. What a beauty. How long have you had her?
It's been in the make for 13 years. I just got it back June 29th of this year after 13 years of waiting for it.
Yeah. It's a great wait though, huh?
Yes.
Hey, let's start at the front here. This thing from the head to the toes, boys. This is excellent. What a beauty.
Basically, it's the front bumper is all the bumper bolts are taken off.
Yeah, that makes it look so nice.
All the front bumper bolts are taken off. The front bumper is sucked in. It's got a false firewall on it so you don't see anything. Air conditioning, 383 stroker motor, power brakes, power steering, of course.
Let me guess about the front grille. Tell me about the front grille.
That's a stock 54.
That's a stock one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, just a stock 54. The headlights are Frenched. Of course, it's chopped 5 inches.
Right. Yeah.
Grip rails are shaved. B pillars are leaned forward. It's got a custom interior in it. Basically, it's got infinity seats, Maserati leather. course, it's two-tone, suede headliner, 56 dash, 56 taillights, back bumper sucked in. It's a 56 Chevy bumper on the back. Goes on and on and on.
How about the undercarriage? What do you got down there?
Basically about 3 feet of it's a stock frame, all the rest of it's a made frame. Mustang 2 front end, Ford 9-inch in the back. It goes pretty good.
Disc brakes all around?
Just front disc brakes, yes.
Stop pretty good?
Yes, it stops pretty good. I might convert the back to disc brakes, but I'm gonna change the rear end and do a little bit higher rear end.
How many horsepower are you pushing this, you know?
The motor's like 490, so it goes pretty good.
How fast have you had it?
A little over 100.
Easy?
Good, yeah,
easy
yeah, it's easy. 700 R4, it's got overdrive, so 70 miles an hour on the highway, just cruising.
This is a beauty. It's pure black, right?
Yeah,
No fancy, no ghost flames or nothing like that. Just
only chrome on the outside of it is I want it with front bumper and grill, rear bumper and taillights, and then the belt trim. That's it. I didn't want nothing else chrome on it. I want everything else shaved off of it.
Are you done with it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or is your full wallet done with it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done with it. I waited long enough. I just want to drive it.
It's a beaut, Gary. With me, I have Ron Erks from New Franklin, Ohio, right south of Akron.
South of Akron, yeah, down by Portage Lakes.
You know what, Ron? All I got to say is, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
this is,
Let's start. I'll let you take off on this thing. There's so much to say. And
well, what we're looking at here is the rarest Chevrolet truck built in the last 105 years. This is a Cameo. A lot of people don't understand what the Cameos are, but they built them with a fiberglass bed. So in 1955, these trucks came out. They only had a 4-year run, 55, 6, 7, and 8. They built 9,900 units. This year here, the 58 was the last unit, and they did 1,405 of these. So the rarest truck Chevrolet ever did. We built it for SEMA last year. Blake and his boys out at Stoner Speed Shop in Hudson, Iowa. We decided to put this thing together, and we did this deal. I had a vehicle of his before. We sold it. We decided to build a real rare piece. We enlisted the help of Jegs Automotive in Columbus. Jegs.com helped us out with the LT4, the supercharged version, the most horsepower Chevrolet's ever put in a vehicle.
That's a real good looking engine.
650 horse, 650 horse and torque. It's direct injected. Almost 3,000 pounds of fuel pressure, variable cam timing. It's a real technical piece. It's real smooth to drive. Everything in the truck's electronic, power windows, Dakota digital gauges, full kicker audio system all hidden.
The whole undercarriage is powder-coated red. Blake Stoner and the boys did a tubular chassis through the center. It's got a Ford 9-inch rear end, 4-link suspension, big baller Heim ends. It's rack and pinion, Willwood brakes. It's Boss Custom Interiors did the one-off interior, actually using 1963 vintage cloth for the inlays. That's actually 55-year-old cloth on that interior. So yeah, it's been a real fun project, and it culminated with the SEMA GM Performance Design Award at SEMA in 2017. So that was a really big honor for Blake and the boys at the Stoner Speed Shop.
Really?
Yeah.
You got some bucks in this baby, huh?
Oh, yeah.
One-off wheels?
One-off wheels. Mob Steel helped us out on these wheels. Those are Cameo hubcaps. They only put these caps on Cameos, so they custom cut the regular caps in half and TIG welded the backs to these Cameo caps. They have the GM Rally look. Diamondback did these custom Redline 20-inch tires for us. All-American Billet helped us out with their new style hood hinges. They did a belt drive system for this LT4 engine, the first one in production. So we had a lot of one-offs here. It was a lot of fun. Contour did us a custom steering wheel with the Slameo logo in the middle. You know, we take the Cameo, we slam it on the ground, we call her Slameo.
Like the license plate.
Yeah, we got the license plate. We got the water-jetted badges on the side of the vehicle here. They were custom made by All-American Billet, so.
And he said these are stock parts,
Yeah,
okay?
these are stock
and they're hard
parts.
to find.
Very, very hard to find. With only 9,900 units ever produced, you know, we needed these two lower bumperettes here on the outside corners. I mean, we had to give about $4,000 for those bumperettes.
Both of those.
Yeah, one taillight housing anymore. You'll get $600 or $700 in one. So it's, you know, we wanted real parts. They're really not making very many knockoff parts because you don't have much of a market for it. So.
Right.
If you want the stuff to replace it, you got to find the real deal. So,
wow, that's all I got to say. I don't know what else to say there, Ron. This is awesome.
Right.
How's it run for you? Good?
Oh, it runs like, well, we've got 5,000 miles on, and the back tires are completely bald. Diamondback tires just got hit by the hurricane down there. We're waiting on them to ship us some new tires, so we're running on slicks because we've roasted them off already. So having fun.
How's it feel when you're up there in speed?
Oh yeah, it feels good, like a sheet of plywood flying through the air. That's what it feels like.
Okay, my favorite question of all, Ron.
Yeah.
I always like to ask this with these guys all souped up. What was your favorites? How fast have you gone?
We've had this thing 130.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had 130. We've only had it out in Ohio now for about 7 weeks. So the first weekend I had it going down to Good Guys, we were ripping down 71. You just rolled right into it, and it's real comfortable at speed, and off she goes.
What's a good cruising speed?
75. This thing just hunts. Yeah, I got enough speeding tickets. 75's good.
Really? Sixth annual Rust Belt Revival here at the B&O Station in Youngstown.
Boy, was Gary Campesi ever right. He's like, you got to go to this show and look at all the different stuff. I mean, if you watch, you know, I was going around shooting video, and I couldn't get it all. It's impossible.
It was fun. A lot of fun stuff here. Anything goes here, you know that. Anything.
Boy, you're going to have a tough time picking Rick's pick, aren't you?
That's
what I thought.
There's two of them now, I'll tell you.
Well, this is one, you know, I know they were thinking of not doing this show this year, but the turnout, I mean, there's got to be at least 300 cars here.
Yeah, I don't know if they could put any more cars in.
No,
there.
it's packed. But hopefully they'll keep doing this next year, because I tell you what, next couple of years, I'd like to come back to this one and get some different cars.
Sure. What a beauty. This is just odd thing. I thought it was going to be all rat rods, but no. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little of everything, from 30s cars right up to current new cars now. There's a little of everying here.
Yeah.
And the best thing about this show is the customs. I can't believe, done the show. We are car guys from birth. But I can't, it just amazes me what people do to these cars.
They come out with a Hot Wheels on me.
Well, I tell you what, this is our final show for the 2018 season. Let's go over a little bit what we've seen.
What we've seen. Well, this year was a good year. We had 10 shows in, 10 episodes. This is episode number 10.
Yep.
And believe it or not, we had no rainouts. No rainouts.
I think that's the first year we haven't had a
Yeah.
rain out, and we usually do between maybe 5 to 6 shows. They just kept coming in and coming in, and they were, oh, we've got to do this show. We've got to do this show. We ended up with 10 this season, which is probably a record for us.
There's been some years we've done the season, and there's been 3 or 4 rainouts. you
Yeah.
know? And this year we
were lucky.
This year we had Lowville. We were going to use Lowville as our backup.
Yeah.
So for a rain out, because they're doing it, they cruise every week.
Next year.
Next year
We are
going to
putting
hit
Lowville on the schedule next year
Yes.
because we haven't been out there in 2 or 3 years, and it's about time we went back.
Yeah, they got it all remodeled down there and everything.
So it's time.
So you know what? We started out. I don't know when was that.
Well, let's go back to January or February when we went out to Packard.
Right.
We went out to the motorcycle show for the unique engines and motorcycles, and that was really learned a lot out there.
Co-host Larry Ward.
Yep, Larry Ward joined us from iHeartMedia and Two Wheel Power Hour, and boy, is he a wealth of knowledge on those.
And
he knows everything
and
about
he kept
them.
saying, I don't know anything. These other guys, I said, Larry,
He knows
great.
everything, yes.
Yes, he does.
That was a lot of fun, and I just learned a lot. Again, Rick's more of a motorcycle guy than me, so he knows a lot more than I do, and I learned so much out there about these the old Indian engines and
the
a lot of
everything, stuff I never even heard
Yep.
of before.
Yep.
What they have, something like the early 1900 engines in there? or
Yeah,
something like that?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we went down to, where were we
to
at?
Lordstown.
Lordstown.
Uh-huh.
We've been hearing about that show for years.
We
And
we packed the house that night.
yeah, you couldn't get any more people in there, but that was a good show. And you know what? It's in Lordstown, and it seems like the Dairy Queen to me is in the middle of just nowhere. I mean, it's right. You're going down the road, and there's Dairy Queen, and then all of a sudden there's all these cars sitting there, and we packed the house
there was
that
about
night.
150 cars
Yep.
in. That was just big for that.
Yep.
I remember that one because I had that brazier, you know, and I kept eating the brazier, and I didn't want to start the show.
Oh yeah. Finally had to shove it in his face to get him to move. That was a good one.
It was a good.
Yeah.
It was a good brazier.
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
sure.
Good. It was good. Hey, then after that, this was probably our downfall this year. The Salem Super Cruise.
I don't know if we just bring the rain with us to that cruise or not, because this year it rained. The last time we went there, it rained.
What we messed up on, we should have went the night before when everybody was cruising.
Yeah.
And we had plans of going when the car show was on that Saturday. I think it was June the 10th.
But we got it in, and we got some unique cars there. So
Sure.
Yep.
Sure did.
Then we
Then
hit
we hit the
our show.
No, Heritage Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did the Heritage Days right before our show.
In Greenville.
That was a busy weekend for us.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
was hot.
And
Yeah,
tell
it
you,
was hot.
and you know, I'm from New Wilmington originally. Rick's from Hermitage, but always heard about the Heritage Days show, and you knew all about it. But it's like, let's just go and bite the bullet and go do it. And boy, that a nice setting.
I don't know what the official count was, but I heard 700 and I heard 1,000.
I believe it.
Yeah,
you know,
it was. They were packed. They were packed. And
it was unbelievable. In the setting, you know, just that old field downtown setting, and they just packed the house right downtown, and it really nice show. And I remember the McLaren.
Oh yeah, that was
The McLaren was just something to see.
Yes, it was, and that was a good one.
Well, then that weekend we had our show, which was the first year at Chili's, and really did well. And but we did, you know, we had a lot to learn because we were used to doing it at Shepherd Self Storage, but we're making some changes next year for, you know, the Chili's show, and I think it's going to be a lot better than it was this year. So
well, it's always better and better, you know.
Yep.
But that was another hot one. You know,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of hot shows there. The temperature 90 degrees, humidity, and everything.
But being on that blacktop when it's, you know, you're sitting your feet roasting, and we, you know, again, we want to warn people, you know, when you bring your dogs out to these shows, don't walk them on the blacktop because it does burn their paws off.
Yes, it does. It gets like, if it's 80 out, it's like what, 120, 130 degrees.
Yeah, it's like
90
walking in your bare feet on the blacktop.
So don't forget that.
Yep.
And then we went down to the Stadium GM in Salem.
Yep.
The midnight cruise.
Yep,
which
we like.
is always fun.
That's always different because you know it's at night, and you know you're under the lights, and you know we had a threat of rain, and I think it scared a few people off. But what a show that is!
We got some nice cars.
Yeah, and it packed the house down there too.
Yeah.
Nice show. Always a nice show.
Yeah, it's different. You start off in the sunlight, and the next thing you know, it's
Yeah,
dark
it's getting
out.
dark. The
Yeah.
lights are coming on, and yeah, it was a good show.
That was a lot of fun. And then probably one of my favorites, I always like this one, Cars in the Park. That was in August.
Yeah, we love Cars in the Park. Mahoning Valley Old Car Club always has been very good to street scene. And that, you know, that's always a nice setting. It's at Boardman Park, the Green Oasis, and, you know, on the grass, and just a lot of fun at that show all the time.
Yeah, yes it is, and it's just a nice setting. I love it amongst the trees and everything.
Yeah, that's great.
Even though I did win my class, and you took the trophy in your class.
Yeah, we got to enjoy it somehow. So yeah. We, you know, sometimes, you know, we've been doing this for a long time. It's, you know, we kind of like to get some trophies once in a while too.
So we had a little void there, or lull there for a while, for about a month, over about 6-week period.
Yep,
and then we went to the fireplace.
Last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
this is the third week. This is last week in September. Last 3 weeks we've done shows in September. We went to the fireplace,
which is always good.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, if you want to go, and they usually run their cruises on Thursday nights at the fireplace. So you got to go out to that if you're looking for something to do.
10th year.
Yep, this is 10th year. Yep, we matched up. We started this show 10 years ago, and it was their 10th year, and they packed the house too, and that was a nice show. We had so many, you know, we had the Dukes of Hazzard original police car there. We had Barney Fife, and we had a lot of fun at that show.
They raised a lot of money for that. I think it was the Akron Cancer Society, Akron Children's.
Yeah, Akron Children's. Yeah. So they raised a lot of money, and again, a lot of these shows, that's what they're for. You want to raise money for the charities. That's why we're all here anyway.
And then a week later was September 22nd. We went down to New Middletown.
Yep. We went, New Middletown Custom Car Show. Great hot dogs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You go down there, you want to eat something. They had the New York style hot dogs and the not Chicago dogs, but the Detroit dog.
The Detroit dog, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about the damn hot dogs. It was the cars that we were there for.
Yeah, the cars
so
are great.
yeah, that was a nice setting at the church in the grass. And we took a ride in that Tesla. I've never ridden in a Tesla, and boy, I tell you what.
Wow.
It gets up to what, 130 real quick.
Real quick.
Yeah, I was hanging on. So
hang on.
Yeah,
you were hanging on to the camera. I was hanging on to my life on the front seat. Yikes.
It was a good one though.
And then we finished off everything with the Rust Belt Revival here.
Right here.
In Youngstown.
We're in the Rust Belt Revival. This show, you know, we've heard about this and we scheduled it. They didn't know if we were going to do it. They scheduled, and boy, did it pay off for them, because we got great weather. It was raining on my way in here. I'm sitting there, I just washed the car. But it paid off. It is gorgeous out here. And the cars, I don't think I've ever, in any of our shows, seen so many unique cars as in this show right here, and that too.
Yep, you got it.
Well, I tell you what, this is our 10th year, and the bees are out. Yeah. But, you know, we've had a great 10th year, and we want to keep going. So keep watching.
Thanks to Armstrong Cable, man. They're great letting us do this. And Greg's my boss here, too. So
no boss here. Pretty piss poor one at that one.
Oh, no.
But anyway, you know, if you missed any of it, we throw these on YouTube. You know, and if you don't get Armstrong, or if you want to just keep running them, YouTube, just do an Armstrong street scene search. You probably have about 60 shows up there. Someday I'll plan to put on the old ones that are forgotten about.
Okay.
But
I wish you would forget about those.
Yeah, oh, your dark hair too.
Yeah. That's what I didn't have to tuck my belly in neck then either. So.
For Rick Herrera, I'm Greg Roten. We'll see you down the road.